Well, how about that? We're into the year-end season. Now, I want to do something a bit special this year, so on top of the usual album of the year and the honourable mentions videos that will be coming out soon, I wanted to collect a few of the more interesting categories that the music I've been listening to has fallen into. We have 10 awards this year, and there's 3 nominees for each. I will be talking a little bit about each of them and then revealing the overall winner. But I will be interested to see how many of them you guess before I give up the goods. So take note and let me know in the comments how predictable I've become in my old age. But enough of the chit-chat, we've got a lot to get through, so let's get things started and we'll rip the band-aid off first. Amorphis, Borderland. Amorphis are a band with an extraordinarily good late career run, so it was genuinely surprising to me how indistinct Borderland felt. There's nothing outright bad here, but the hooks feel watered down, and the trademark blend of folk-tinged melancholy and melodic power metal fails to ignite at any point. It's Amorphis coasting, resting on their laurels and letting the motions of their career carry them. And when a band of this caliber phones it in, the disappointment hits that much harder. Orcrust, Waving at the Sky. Orcrust's sophomore outing had all the momentum in the world behind it after the approbation, but Waving at the Sky feels like a frustrating case of potential only half fulfilled. The performances are solid, and the influences of Porcupine Tree and Opeth remain compelling, yet the album never quite crystallizes into something as immersive or emotionally deep as its ingredients should allow for. You can almost constantly sense a better version of this record lurking beneath the surface, but it never breaks through the cloud cover. Ghost, Skeleta. Ghost's theatrical flair and pop metal charisma have always been their secret weapon, but Skeleta leant too far into surface-level camp without the gothic charm of their earlier days to balance things out. The earworms are present, but the heart isn't. It honestly feels like Ghost parodying Ghost. Glossy, spooky, cute, and entirely predictable. For a band who've been part responsible for reigniting metal into the mainstream, this feels like it's the very first time they've actually been stagnating. And the winner is Orcrust, Waving at the Sky. Sorry, guys. FMEB, Allo Babar et les Caramboleurs. Few albums this year are as wildly creative, profoundly ridiculous, and musically razor-sharp as FMEB's bizarre yet compelling opus. Their boundless fusion of prog metal absurdity, cartoonish energy, and technical wizardry deserves far more attention. It's the kind of record that reminds you music can still surprise you. Completely unserious, yet seriously brilliant, it's an album I've not been able to leave alone for almost the entire year. Mario Infantes, Bitacora. Existing as an entity unto itself alone, this is one of the most fascinating little things I've had the pleasure of spending time with this year. Bitacora flows like a river of songwriting excellence. Infantes' creations here are rich, layered, and evoke a type of humanity that isn't often seen these days, with production that rewards repeated and closer listening. This is a near-perfect example of the term hidden gem that deserves to be championed by anyone craving music made for the sheer love of the art. Sindar, Tower of the Sun. Tower of the Sun throws out some delightful Opeth-inspired musicality, but it is tinged with their very own distinct identity. This album offers a beautifully crafted journey through fantasy-infused progressive metal that feels cinematic without ever losing its intimacy. Lush arrangements and some genuinely heartfelt melodies coexist with playful ambition. It's one of those albums that quietly grips your imagination, and it's the kind of record that would be beloved if more people simply found it. So that's where I come in and take charge and remind you all that this fantastic album needs a lot more ears on it. And the winner is FMEB with Allo Babar et les Caramboleurs. It's been a heavy year. It's been tough, it's been weird. Der Weg einer Freiheit, Inern. When I first heard this album, I did so in an admittedly distracted state of mind, and as a result I didn't really get it. It was only after multiple listens in the right environment that Inern revealed its brilliance. It feels like this was carved from a block of darkened ice. It's bitterly cold, frigid and unyielding to a casual listen, but the more I invested into its blackened fury and gorgeous atmospherics, the more I fell in love with it, and now I can scarcely pull myself away. TWRP, The Longest Weekend. Initially breezy and playful, The Longest Weekend blossoms into one of TWRP's most emotionally sincere works. Beneath the funky pop neon lies a real story about exhaustion, connection, and rediscovering joy. The grooves will pull you in, but it's the sentiment that will make you stay. Some of the cuts on this album reduced me to different types of tears at different times in my life. The final song had me emotionally crushed one month and elated the next. It's an extraordinary album that's so much more than what it appears to be on face value. Cardiac's LSD. This insane album is chaotic, dense, and defiantly unorthodox even by Cardiac's own standards. LSD can feel like a sensory overload up front, as most Cardiac's albums are wont to do, but once the pieces click, it becomes a celebration of musical freedom. Layers upon layers of hooks and madness unfold with every replay. It's not the easiest of listens, no, but it's certainly one of the most rewarding, and I've really struggled to leave this one alone after it sunk its claws into me. And the winner is Der Weg einer Freiheit, Inern. Cardiac's LSD. It's back! Not content enough with a nomination for Biggest Grower, it's an obvious pick for the Comeback King. The mere existence of new Cardiac's music in 2025 still feels miraculous. But LSD isn't just a triumphant return, it's proof that their genius never dimmed in spite of the tragedies they faced. It's the kind of comeback album that restores faith in what fearless, boundary-obliterating music can be. So many bands owe their existence to Cardiac's, so the fact that their swan song is this good is a true delight. Dream Theater, Parasomnia. Who knew that all it would take for Dream Theater to sound relevant again would be to bring back Mike Portnoy into the fold? Now, there's no shade here to Mangini, but after years of divisive material and some of the worst albums of their career, Parasomnia is Dream Theater sounding energized again. There's tighter songwriting, more purposeful shredding, and a sense of narrative flair that recalls their most beloved eras. This is a return to form many feared would never come. Is it perfect? Good lord, no. But compare this to the astonishing, and all is forgiven. Moron Police, Pachinko. Talk about your unexpected late-game curveballs to my Album of the Year list. Moron Police finally returned with renewed imagination and an unmistakable spark. Pachinko is explosive, colourful, and emotionally uplifting without ever losing their quirky bite. It feels less like a comeback and more like a creative rebirth. This is pure bubblegum progressive rock joy. There's very few albums that have come out this year that are as immediately delightful as this one is. And the winner is Cardiac's LSD. An Abstract Illusion, The Sleeping City. As soon as I clapped my eyes on this absolutely gorgeous piece of work, I knew I was in love. Clearly they're targeting me directly with this one, as I have a soft spot for purple, but the artwork perfectly conveys the record's incredible soundscapes. You can feel the surreal city structures and the unsettling beauty of the album oozing from the images on the exterior of the sleeve. Frankly, it's just incredible to look at. Changeling Subtitled. The minimalism of the colour palette combined with the complexity of the actual design is what drew me into this one. It's stark and it's violent in many ways, but also has that sense of simplicity that minimalism also carries. The choice for what is effectively only two colours has made for a memorable and distinct album cover that's easy to pick out of a lineup as something truly exceptional. Moron Police, Pachinko. The sheer bravado of this cover needs studying. There is so much going on, and in some ways it reminds me of Josh Kirby's Discworld covers with a level of peripheral detail going on. It's got this kind of joyful, primary-coloured chaos rendered with meticulous detail. Every inch is packed with character and colour, and it is so visually exciting you almost want to frame it or stare at it for hours trying to decode the madness within. And the winner is An Abstract Illusion, The Sleeping City. Deaf Heaven, Lonely People with Power. This really is an extraordinary sounding album. A masterclass in balancing aggression with beauty. The guitars shimmer, the rhythm section thunders, and George Clark's trademark raspy shriek feels like it's ripping chunks out of your ears at all times. It's a lush, rich, rewarding mix where everything sounds crystal clear but yet somehow overwhelming in a way that only this kind of music can manage. Kawan, Way Home. It's been a hot minute since I last listened to Kawan before 2025, and I'd almost forgotten just how good their albums sound. And Way Home is certainly no exception to the rule. Every single instrument really breathes. It's almost organic and alive with how everything speaks to you. The mix feels like standing inside a vast, snow-covered landscape, and the clarity and dynamic depth elevates the emotional weight of the compositions into something truly outstanding. And then I just want to briefly touch on that extraordinary spatial audio mix on Apple Music because, damn! Stephen Wilson, The Overview. Okay, so I might not have been the biggest fan of this album when it came out, and while I still stand by my review, the album has grown on me over the course of the year. One thing that cannot be ignored, though, is the fact that Wilson's signature polish is still here in full force. It's hyper-detailed and truly mixed for audiophiles who live for perfect headphones. Whatever you might think of the songs, the production is unquestionably Wilson flexing his muscles. And the winner is Kawan, Way Home. Jess Alanik of Calva Louise. Jess Alanik delivers a fearless and fascinating performance here. She effortlessly switches between venomous grit and floating ethereality in a fashion that would make traffic slam to a halt. Without a shadow of a doubt, she is the band's greatest weapon, and this album proves it. You could pick any track off the record and you'd be guaranteed an exceptional performance from Jess, but it's her versatility and adaptation to multiple styles over different languages, often on the same songs, that makes her such a treat to listen to. Brent Fjellstad, In the Woods. If you're looking for the most unapologetically masculine vocal performance of the year, then Fjellstad is the guy you're looking for. Every song on Otra is carried by his commanding, warming timbre. He soars when it's called for. He's a fireside poet. He's got grit and gravitas, and his unique delivery is perfectly suited to the narrative force guiding the band's dark mysticism. If ever there was a vocalist I wanted to read me bedtime stories, then it's Fjellstad. Markus Hentunen, Royal Sorrow. So if Fjellstad is the dad of the nominees here, then Hentunen is definitely the cocky uncle who absolutely knows that they're the one his nieces and nephews love the most. What he might lack in individuality and uniqueness, he more than makes up for in raw, unfiltered power and melodic fury. The emotional intensity in Hentunen's performances are gripping. He allows his fragile crooning to erupt into genuinely cathartic, sky-piercing aggression at times, genuinely feeling like a man possessed with all the fury and passion befitting of the music swirling around him. And the winner is Bernd Fjellstad, In the Woods.
Sucks up the destruction of the weak. Yeah, that kitchen, there's a radio. She sings along the one.
Craig Finn, Always Been. A new discovery for me this year, Finn has demonstrated himself as one of the most gifted storytellers in modern music. Every track here feels like its own short film in a way, filled with flawed people, razor-sharp wit, and startling emotional resonance. He reminds me a lot of Bruce Springsteen in his kind of everyman narrative and earnest delivery of his music, and it makes for a listening experience that feels both sobering and necessary in equal measure. The cast of Has Been Hotel, Season 2 official soundtrack. Okay, I am a complete queer theatre kid at heart, so it really should come as no surprise that I love Has Been Hotel. And the soundtrack to Season 2 of the show came with a mountain of certified bangers. A generous serving of genre-hopping show tunes packed with clever writing, incredible leitmotifs to seasons past and present, explosive personalities from everyone involved, and Broadway-tier vocal execution. It is pure entertainment done right, even if you're not familiar with the show. But for those of us who've been following since the beginning, this is evidence that the music side of the show is only getting better and better. Indigo D'Souza, Precipice. A good friend of mine put me onto this magical little album, and it has formed a fairly regular part of my weekly listening habits for a few months now. Exercising a kind of delicate, raw vulnerability and indie pop warmth, it is worlds colliding in a beautiful explosion of rainbow-tinted joy and honesty. Feels like a deeply personal album where soft melodies carry heavy truths. It aches in places, yes, but it also uplifts. Now, it's a short but sweet masterpiece, so if you've got half an hour or so going spare, you do very well to check this one out. And the winner is the cast of Has Been Hotel, Season 2 official soundtrack. Changeling, Anathema. God, I love this album, and this closing track off of Changeling's self-titled record is a near perfect example of how to blend technical death metal's intensity with progressive metal's self-indulgence and creativity. There's so much to love on this album already, but to cap it off with one of the most fascinating, immersive, and hauntingly beautiful in places tracks, it almost feels unfair to everyone else. Anathema is the perfect end to an album that is, and of itself, damn near perfect already. I can't fathom the idea of this kind of death metal being done better and with more grandiosity than this. FMEB, J'ai demandé à Aladdin, j'ai eu Captain Caverne. In an album with two contenders for crown of Best Epic of the Year, it was hard work picking just one, but ultimately it was the inclusion of the Gremlins theme tune with psychotic chicken noises that pushed this one into the finalist category. Absolute insanity and pure chaotic brilliance, this is a true prog metal odyssey packed with exceptionally French humour, technical insanity, and imaginative storytelling. Like the whole album before it, this is completely unpredictable in the best possible way. Nothing can prepare you for FMEB, but I can at least warn you that it was not one, but two of the best epics on the year on it. Jacob Roberge, The Passing. Oh my goodness, am I glad I found this guy, or more accurately, he reached out to me first, and caught my attention enough for me to take a chance on him. And good Lord Almighty, I was not expecting this album to be as good as it was, not to mention that it serves up an epic that would make Neil Morse circa Sola Scriptura jealous. If you were to ask me for a bucket list of what I want from a progressive rock epic, I'd just make vague gestures in the direction of The Passing. Unspeakably emotional, powerfully commanding, and full of the kind of heartstrings personality to make even the hardest-hearted people cry, this is a complete tour de force that set the template for everyone else to follow in 2025. And the winner is Jacob Roberge, The Passing. Deafheaven, Winona. Of everything I've listened to this year, one thing became abundantly clear to me when I was shortlisting the finalists. This has been the year of heavy, aggressive, and cathartic music for me. And honestly, nothing else has quite scratched that itch like Winona has. This is truly Deafheaven at full emotional bloom, above and beyond even anything on the mighty Sunbather. The first time I heard this in a dark room with a good pair of headphones on, I felt my soul leaving my body. This would be a stunning musical achievement for any band, but this is a career-defining track for Deafheaven. This is their past, their present, and their future all rolled into one. It's absolutely stunning, and everything I was hoping for. ILO, Legacy. Good lord above, I love ILO. They really have captured that essence of what modern progressive metal could and should be. Towering vocals, enormous crunching guitars, shimmering keyboards, and a true sense of epic build-up and payoff. I think more than any other song this year, the crescendo of Legacy is pure artistry. When those keyboards fire up towards the climax of the song, I just get oof, all over body chills, and it's a moment I wish I could live out for the first time again and again. I had high hopes for this album, and the title track proved that believing in ILO was the right thing to do. This feels like a future classic of the genre, the kind of song that bands will spend years trying to write. In the Woods, Let Me Sing. If I was asked to pick just one song that I've listened to the most this year, it would probably be this one. From start to finish, it has me completely in its thrall, from the discordant keyboards of the intro to its simple but powerful melodies and the crushing sincerity of the vocals. I've been obsessed with this song for more than half a year now. It has the sensation of an anthem of defiance, resilience, and power. It's haunting and it's triumphant and vocally breathtaking. It has lingered in my brain for long after the last note fades every time I hear it, and I can't think of any other song this year that I can immediately reach for over and over again. Pure poetry and melancholic melody, Let Me Sing feels like a demand as much as it does anything else. And the winner is Deafheaven Winona. So, there we have it, the winners of the first annual Rhyme Signatures Awards. But of course, I'm interested to hear what your picks would have been for these categories. Did I pick wrong for my nominees? Did I snub your favourites? Let me know by commenting down below. Next up will be the honourable mentions of the year, so keep an eye on the channel for that next week. But until then, guys, thank you very much as always for watching, and until next time, keep your rhyme signatures pretty odd.